From gargantuan AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, it's one of the biggest games of this opening weekend of the college football season. Malik Rozier and the Miami Hurricanes, off a 10-win season a year ago for Coach Mark Richt, take on Ed Orgeron and the LSU Tigers. They'll be led tonight by a new starting quarterback, Joe Burrow, the Ohio State graduate transfer. It was clear when these teams took the field about an hour ago, they're ready to get after each other and start the season. Miami trying to prove it's back among the nation's elite. A marquee matchup, two top 25 teams in the preseason, 8th ranked Miami and number 25 LSU. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough along with Todd Blackledge. We'll be joined in just a moment by Holly Rowe. Delighted to have you with us for this Sunday night treat for college football fans who can't get enough on this opening weekend. Todd, the 10-win season for Miami last year, the first for the Hurricanes since 2003. That's hard to believe. They think they're better this year. They bring back most of that talent. Right. Is the U back?
I'm not ready to say they're back to national championship level, but they're getting closer. When I saw them on the practice field this week, they're starting to look like I would expect Miami to look. Mark Richt and his staff really starting to recruit the South Florida area really well again. I think they have to be a better team, a more consistent team, particularly offensively this year. They did a couple unique things last year. They were 4-0 in close ball games, and they forced 31 turnovers. You can't count on doing that year to year. I think they're not going to sneak up on anybody. They have to be consistently better.
Meanwhile, LSU 9-4 a year ago. They're in the top 25 in the preseason for the 18th straight year. Only Boise State has a longer such streak, but obviously they're barely in the top 25. A lot of people think they're heading in the wrong direction. Here's a great opportunity tonight on this stage against this team to make the point they're still elite.
As long as they play defense the way I think they're capable of playing this year, they'll be in every ball game. They don't have to go in the other direction. The big question, can they play offense? More specifically, can they throw the football better? New offensive coordinator, new graduate transfer quarterback. I think this game is more important for LSU tonight than Miami because of what follows with their schedule. Very important for them to get off to a great start.
Tailgating well underway outside. Fans of Miami and LSU streaming in. Miami very well represented. LSU only about 6 hours away from its campus. The thought was they'd have many more fans in the stands, but as we look out, it looks like it's about a 50-50 split in the seats. Welcome back, Sean McDonough along with Todd Blackledge. For LSU fans tonight, the big question is, how will Joe Burrow perform? First-year quarterback, just joined them over the summer. He was at Ohio State for the last 3 years. 1 redshirt season, 2 as a backup to J.T. Barrett. He's making his first career start tonight for a new team.
Yeah, first career start, first meaningful snaps. I mean, he appeared in 10 games, but most of that mop-up duty. He's got the physical tools. He's a big, strong guy, can make plays with his legs, accurate arm. My big question for him, is he ready for the speed of the game tonight against a very fast and physical Miami defense? He's got to be quick with his decisions, and the ball's got to get out of his hands.
It's a returning starter at Miami, a quarterback, Malik Rozier, 5th-year senior from Mobile, Alabama. Up and down a year ago, particularly late in the year, he struggled, but a lot of injuries around him. They think he's better.
Wasn't all him. He had so many highlights in those first 10 games. Unfortunately, most of his lowlights occurred in that 3-game losing streak to end the season. I think the biggest area for improvement for him this year, 3rd down and red zone. It was interesting, he said, from day 1 of summer camp, they started working on those 2 situations of the game. That has to be a big area of improvement for him this year.
He's become a team leader of this Miami Hurricane squad, taking the field. Down on the field, here's Holly Rowe.
Coach, there's so many people here in Miami Orange. The expectations are high, but what is it that you know about your team?
They're going to play hard as they can, and they're going to play for this city. They're going to play for their school, so we're looking forward to it.
Thank you, Coach.
He's ready to go. One and done, the question department. On the other side, Ed Orgeron, Louisiana native in his dream job. 3rd season now. Took over 4 games into the 2016 season, last year's first full season as head coach, they went 9-4. Many of these preseason articles list him among the foremost coaches on the hot seat. LSU won the toss and deferred, so Miami will receive the opening kickoff with Jeff Thomas and DJ Dallas, 2 speedsters, back deep for the kick from Avery Atkins, a true freshman. A lot of these freshmen seeing their first college action in Jerry World. So many butterflies normally and compounded on national TV in this mammoth facility with about 80,000 on hand. And DJ Dallas, a couple of yards deep in the end zone, takes the knee. So here comes Malik Rozier. Last year, a lot of commentators called him Rozier. When we visited with him the other day, he said his name is Malik Rozier. So we'd like to call people by what they call themselves. And last season, despite the difficulties down the stretch, 31 touchdowns responsible for. He threw for 26, ran for 5. That broke a record held by Vinny Testaverde, who set it back in 1986 when he won the Heisman Trophy. They opened in the pistol. Travis Homer, their leading returning rusher, takes the handoff. Ahead for about 2 before he was driven back by Jacob Phillips, part of an outstanding linebacker corps. Both teams have terrific linebackers.
Very good. It's going to be very difficult to run between the tackles against this LSU defense. Very stout. They play a base 3-man front defense. Miami plays a base 4-man front defense. Dave Aranda in his 3rd year as the defensive coordinator.
Again, the pistol. Mark Richt, the head coach, calls the plays with significant input from Thomas Brown, the offensive coordinator. Rozier dumped for a loss. Rashard Lawrence, the leader of that front, the junior from Monroe, Louisiana.
Unbelievable play by Lawrence. This is a zone read, and Rozier is going to read the tackle. He fakes like he's going in and still gets to the quarterback to make the play. The defensive tackle was able to guard 2 guys at one time.
Miami was dreadful on 3rd down last year, 29%, and even worse during that 3-game losing streak at the end of the year when they were at 22%. It's an area they hope to make major improvement. It's a screen for Homer, and not very far goes the running back. He ran into Devin White, one of the best linebackers in the country.
Couldn't ask for a better opening series. If you're LSU defense, a quick 3 and out, and they should get decent field position on the exchange here.
Zach Fiegels, a sophomore, returning starting punter for Miami, and a newcomer for LSU. He's been itching to go for a long time. Jonathan Giles, who sat out last year as a transfer from Texas Tech.
Oh my gosh,
pressure on the punt.
Hit it? They still got the short punt, but I don't know how they didn't get the block.
Ed Paris was right in the face, right on the leg of Zach Fiegels.
Right up the gut, and he tried to block it with one hand and missed the football, but he still forced a poor punt by Fiegels.
Just 24 yards.
And LSU, which has struggled over the last 3 years with their average starting field position. Last year they averaged their own 32, which was 57th in the country. Their first possession on the Miami side of the field.
Joe Burrow played in 10 games, all off the bench at Ohio State over the last 2 seasons. Behind J.T. Barrett, his first college start. And they give him an easy throw to get him started. Leonard Fournette, the younger brother of the former LSU great Leonard Fournette, ahead to the 42-yard line of Miami, tackled by Michael Jackson.
You're exactly right, Sean. Just a nice, easy throw. Get the nerves out. Let him get that first completion of the ball game. They're able to pick up decent yardage. Again, excellent field position. I think in a game like this with 2 defenses as good as both teams are, you must capitalize on good field position and come away with points.
And they started at the Miami 47. Gain of 5 on the first play from scrimmage for LSU. Chris Curry, a surprise starter. Thought we'd see Nick Brissett or perhaps Clyde Edwards-Helaire to start the game in the backfield, but it's Curry. A true freshman out of Lehigh Acres, Florida.
That penalty again really costly. Not only do they take away the first down, now their first third down situation is third down and long. And again, Burrow has to be quick with his decision making and quick with his release of the football. This Miami team, 44 quarterback sacks a year ago to lead the nation.
Manny Diaz, the coordinator, he likes to blitz. And Burrow knows it. They give him time. He has a man open. They have a first down. D. Anderson. The ball comes out at the end of the play, and Miami has it. Michael Pinckney popped it out.
Now, wait a minute now.
They might be premature in giving Miami the ball. Their sideline nearest to it erupted, thinking the turnover chain was going to make its first appearance of the year, but the officials.
It was a really good read by Joe Burrow, finding the open man. There were three receivers in the area. He found the opening and got the first down. That was D. Anderson on the completion. You must take care of the football. You've got to know that this is a team in Miami that thrives on forcing turnovers. You got to protect the ball as you're going down. I think the ball did come out, but LSU came away with the recovery.
Yeah, no doubt it's a fumble. And LSU comes quickly up to the line. The big name ball carrier. This is Nick Brossette, who's their leading career returning rusher with 306 yards career entering the season. Joe Jackson made the tackle.
The other thing we're seeing differently with Steve Ensminger, the new offensive coordinator. We haven't seen the quarterback under center. We haven't seen a fullback, I formation, a lot more shotgun, and three wide receiver sets. They still have a tight end in and one back.
Steve Ensminger, the sort of new offensive coordinator. You had the job before, has it back now. Good tackle on the catch made in the flat by Terrace Marshall. Derek Smith plays the striker position for Miami. Really a nickel. There's Steve Ensminger. When Ed Orgeron in 2016 was elevated to head coach, Ensminger became the offensive coordinator. The numbers went way up. They went 6-2, but at the end of the year, Orgeron searched around the country to find the best candidate he could find to be the offensive coordinator. He brought in Matt Canada, a marriage that really did not go very well for anybody involved. He's now the interim head coach at Maryland with that big win yesterday. Burrow on the run, up for grabs and broken up by the new man into the game, Javonte Dean, who had coverage on Justin Jefferson.
A nice play by Javonte Dean. This is really a good throw by Joe Burrow. It's kind of a back shoulder throw on the fade to the outside. And I thought they were going to get a completion, but Javonte Dean stayed right with the play and knocked it away.
So he did well coming in for the ejected Bandy. When we talk about first game jitters, how about this young man? Cole Tracy, the new field goal kicker for LSU, kicked the last 3 seasons at Division II Assumption College in Worcester, Massachusetts, in a home stadium of 1,200 people. Cool as a cucumber. Drives it right down the middle from 43 yards. And a sigh of relief for LSU fans who watched kickers struggle last year. Both teams came in here yesterday to walk around. If there's ever a place you want to go see before you play it, it's this place, because there's a lot to it.
There's a lot to this booth that we're in.
We love this booth.
Oh my goodness.
Perfect height, great vantage point. Avery Atkins kicks off again. His opening kickoff of the game was a touchback, and this one is as well. The coaches and players we talked to yesterday were raving about the uniforms. Wow, what a catch. One-handed snatch by Jeff Thomas. Malik Rozier on target. And a first down for Miami.
Really good protection, because this is a long developing play. It's a crossing route. The slot receiver Thomas finds the hole behind the linebackers and then makes the one-handed catch. But it started with outstanding protection.
17-yard gain. On the completion of the speedy slot receiver, Jeff Thomas. Play fake. And Rozier, they like to throw it deep, and he's on target again. into LSU territory near the 25-yard line. Lawrence Cager with Christian Fulton in coverage and Michael Irvin on the Miami sideline. Loving every minute of it.
Christian Fulton getting his first action in 2 years. Starting at corner, he stumbled a little bit coming out of that break, and it was a beautiful throw by Rozier.
For 33 yards. Rozier ran for 468 yards. Last year, he's a threat to run. He's down to the 20-yard line. Glenn Logan made the tackle.
Little play action. They picked up the safety blitzer, Delpit, and then a beautiful throw over the outside shoulder. And again, the little bit of a stumble by Fulton got the separation for Cager. Again, we talked about the red zone. They're just outside of it, but that was not an area of strength last year for this Miami team. I think the quarterback run, either by design or improvising in the red zone, is critical.
A very slow starting team throughout last year as well with the Hurricanes. Here's pressure right up the middle from Devin White. Rozier got away and throws to the end zone, incomplete. Good coverage by Grant Delpit on Brian Hightower. Delpit, they believe, is one of the best safeties in the country.
Well, he does a lot for him. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. We saw him blitz on the play before. They like to move him around and use him in a lot of different spots. That time he was in man coverage on a wide receiver. Just shows you the versatility of this young safety. Third down again. Last year, Miami 29% conversions on third down. That's a poor number for a good football team.
And 0 for 1 tonight. Third down and 7. Again, they try to put pressure up the middle. Rozier, a high throw, incomplete. Looking for Jeff Thomas, who stands just 5'10", and the coverage from Terrence Alexander, a graduate transfer from Stanford.
Both of these defenses like to play a lot of man coverage, a lot of tough press man coverage, and they force quarterbacks to make difficult tight throws. That was an errant throw by Rozier.
And field goal kicker questions on each side. Here's Bubba Baxa. Hard to believe it, 4 out of 10 last year in Pasadena, Texas, near Houston, about 4 hours from here. He was one of the top ranked kickers in the country, but he was number 4 by ESPN.com. He has a big leg. He's trying to tie it from 38 yards, and he does. So a great start for the new kicker on each side. 6:49 to go in the first quarter. Miami and LSU tied at 3. Here's Clyde Edwards-Helaire bringing back the kickoff for LSU. And he's blasted along the far sideline. Sheldrick Redwine had him along the boundary by the waist. And came quickly to the line right out of the huddle. Miami was ready to go from their own 43. The Tigers on 1st and 10. Burrow on target, and it's dropped. Derek Dillon could not hang on. Ed Orgeron said, our guys will be open. We had a little bit of a problem in the preseason with drops, and here's one in the game.
Good read right in between the linebackers and zone coverage, and that's a ball that has to be caught. Good protection. Quarterback puts it on the hands, and Dillon's got to come down with that one.
Burrow got away from Demetrius Jackson, ran out of time, and threw it away. Not only is LSU replacing the quarterback, Danny Etling, who was signed by the New England Patriots to their practice squad today. We mentioned Geis, the second-round pick, the running back for the Redskins, unfortunately suffered a big knee injury. But they also lost their 2 best wide receivers in DJ Chark and Russell Gage, who are both in the NFL right now. So not a lot of experienced playmakers around Burrow.
One of the guys they're counting on is Jonathan Giles, who transferred from Texas Tech. He's in the slot, number 7. Very productive as a sophomore at Texas Tech. They need him to step up.
Well, he caught 69 balls for the Red Raiders 2 years ago. Burrow on target. First down into Miami territory. Justin Jefferson. A 12-yard gain.
For whatever reason, LSU or Miami only rushed 3 guys. And Joe Burrow was able to stay in there. I think they've been able to collapse the pocket with pressure.
Here comes a Miami blitz. Burrow got it off, and behind Jonathan Giles.
We've seen a couple protection breakdowns with LSU. There's been some free rushers, and that's just a matter of miscommunication, that it's not overload blitz situations by Miami. They're just creating some confusion with their alignments. And Joe Burrow so far has done a pretty good job of avoiding it and at least getting rid of the football.
They're playing without Ed Ingram, who was their starting right guard last year, dealing with a legal matter. Back to the pistol for Burrow, the son of a coach. His dad, Jimmy, longtime defensive coordinator, Ohio U. He's here tonight. The handoff to Nick Brissett. All kinds of running room. Off to the races and into the end zone. A touchdown for LSU from 50 yards. Brissett in high school ran for 141 touchdowns, the state record by a mile. 118 had been the record by Kenny Hilliard, who went on to play at LSU. But now Brissett, a senior, just scored his first touchdown as a college player as a senior out of University High School in Baton Rouge.
Perfect call by Steve Ensminger against that Miami defense.
Extra point up and good. And the former Assumption Greyhound, Cole Tracy.
Watch the defense. Jaquan Johnson is going to blitz from here. Watch the guard pick up the linebacker. Watch the other guard pick up the safety, and this linebacker fell too far outside. The perfect call against this defense, and downfield blocks by the two guards spring the running back for an easy touchdown for LSU.
With that run, had more than half as many yards as he had all last season, backing up Darius Geis. He rushed for 96 yards all of last year. He is their leading returning rusher.
Damian Lewis, the right guard. Garrett Brumfield, the left guard. Outstanding blocks at the second and third level of that Miami defense on that play.
There's Avery Atkins, true freshman out of Auburn, Alabama. Jeff Thomas and DJ Dallas back deep. Thomas takes a knee.
Now you're a golfer.
My modesty prevents me from saying I was a ranked junior player in New England. If I was immodest, perhaps I would say that. Humility being one of my greatest strengths, I'm not going to bring that up. Amon Richards made the catch for Miami and almost got a first down, just inches shy of the yard line to make. But coming toward the end of the quarter, talented young offensive line behind some of these veteran starters. They'll transition to some of the most highly recruited linemen in the country when guys like St. Louis are gone. Rozier into double coverage, looking for Cager. Greedy Williams back in the game.
That's the end of the first quarter.
After being dinged up not long ago, still twisting that right arm around as if there's something wrong. End of the first quarter, LSU leading Miami 10-3. Sunday night kickoff presented by NHTSA. We'll continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Back at AT&T Stadium, LSU leading Miami 10-3 as we head to the second quarter.
That last play, now I know there's a free safety right there, but on this post route, Malik Rozier, he needs to throw that ball here to let his receiver run to it. He has a tendency to throw that back over the other shoulder. It's very difficult for a receiver to adjust to that. Yes, there's a free safety there, but let your guy run to the football. And Mark Richt told me that's the one route that he has a little bit of problem throwing down the field and not leading him back towards the middle where the guy can run to it.
Third down and 11 on the first play of the second quarter. And they still cannot convert a third down. Brian Hightower, the catch, got close to the marker but didn't quite get there. A couple of yards short.
An incomplete pass.
And now they're waving it off for an incomplete pass.
Well,
With Christian Fulton in coverage.
Yeah, third and long, and they played zone. They normally play man, but they played zone and forced the underneath throw and then made the tackle on the line at the sideline. But it was incomplete anyway.
So they're 0 for 4 on third down. After a 2 for 10 in the Orange Bowl against Wisconsin and a 3 for 16 in the ACC title game against Clemson. Hoping for improvement, haven't experienced it so far yet on third down. Here's Zach Fiegels, the son of the great Jeff Fiegels, Miami alum, 22-year outstanding punter in the NFL. He's here tonight. He didn't like that one from his offspring. Short kick out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Brissett, the lone back. Carter, the fullback, lined up at the end of the line, trying to lead the way for Brissett, who got knocked forward to the 43 of Miami. 12 minutes to go in the half, and LSU leading 10-3 in the first meeting between these two schools since the 2005 Peach Bowl, which the Tigers won in a rout 40-3. It was an ugly night for Miami.
Really nice block on that play by Foster Moreau, the tight end wearing that number 18, that coveted number 18 jersey for LSU, leading the way on that play.
Chris Curry ran into Willis, and Willis didn't miss that time. Curry tried to bounce away, and Scott Patchen made sure he did not.
Very good first step quickness. Here's Willis. He's just going to step to the outside. The tackle doesn't get to block on him. That looks like a miscommunication up front. You don't want to turn that guy loose. He's the most disruptive guy on the inside of that Miami defense. A New Orleans native, and made a big play there.
Played 1 year at the University of Florida, did Willis. Third down and 10. Burrow after a short set, throw behind the receiver. Nice catch made by Giles.
Great effort after the catch by Giles.
So get within about a yard of the first down. Al Blades made the tackle.
Well, they did it once. Why not do it again? Fourth and short. Last time Joe Burrow tried to survey the defense and see where the opening of the soft spot appeared it would be.
Brissett, the running back.
There's the free one there.
Burrow with the hard count, got some movement. Then they snapped it and lost the ball, but there were already flags down.
Now that's one where Joe has to have his hands ready all the time, because you tell the center, as soon as you feel somebody get into the neutral zone, you go ahead and snap the football. And in the event that they don't make that call, the quarterback has to secure the snap.
Offside. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Yardage results on the first down.
Tito Odenigbo, graduate transfer from the University of Illinois, gives them some much needed depth up front.
With so many plays and offenses with the quarterback in the shotgun, the snap count is so underutilized anymore. But when you get under center and you can vary your snap count and use your voice inflection, it's a great way to steal yardage.
We are now in field goal range. Burrow under pressure, threw it away, with Demetrius Jackson coming on quickly. Well, Ed Orgeron was thrilled to wind up with Burrow. Burrow went through spring practice at Ohio State. He was a very highly recruited player out of Athens, Ohio. He was Mr. Football in Ohio, but waited for 3 years. Then in the spring competed with Dwayne Haskins. We saw yesterday with Dwayne Haskins.
Hard to argue who won that battle.
And he said, Joe told us, the coaches told me he would still be up for grabs in the fall, but I could see the writing on the wall. He decided after talking to his dad, it was time to transfer out, get a chance to play. Here's Brissett. Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator, said LSU will check your oil up the middle every now and then, and they've done it effectively.
This is just power. Block down, watch the right guard, Brumfield, come up and lead the way through. Just straight north-south running.
Burrow has them up quickly, has a man caught at the pylon.
they're going to say he was out before he crossed the pylon, just inside the 1-yard line.
Yeah, they confirmed there was no signal.
The ruling on the field is a completed catch. First down.
A little stop and go, a little stutter step by Chase is what beat Javonte Dean.
LSU is racing up to the line, and Brissett scores a touchdown. Looked like it might have been a touchdown on the previous play had it been reviewed. But it doesn't matter now. Brissett, who hadn't scored in his entire career, has 2 touchdowns in the first game of his senior season.
The running game that had been pretty silent early in this game starting to come alive for LSU. Brissett showing good, strong running, good push up front, the left side. Brumfield and Charles. Another touchdown for the Tigers.
11-play, 58-yard drive. LSU sharp in this opening half of the season. Here's Cole Tracy, who didn't miss an extra point. 67 attempts at Assumption last year from Coach Bob Chesney, right down the middle.
I think you're right. I think they might have, they'd have taken a look at this, it might have been for a touchdown, but I think LSU felt like the Miami team was deflated and just wanted to line up and pound it right at them. And they got the touchdown anyway.
Roof closed at Jerry World tonight. Temperature in the 90s outside. Another touchback off the foot of Avery Atkins. Bill Lamagnier, our rules expert, thought it was the correct call of a catch. Great view from the progressive pylon cam. First time we've said that this year. We're still not quite in midseason form yet either. DJ Dallas, the ball carrier, and Devin White made the tackle. So far, so good for the new LSU quarterback. We have 3 true freshman offensive linemen who are backups who they think are going to be stars. Rozier runs across the 30. Cleveland Reed, John Campbell, DJ Scape, all very highly recruited offensive linemen. And Mark Richt said, when they're ready to go, we will be a dominant offensive line.
And I think then that doesn't put all the pressure on your quarterback. And it doesn't put you in as many difficult third down situations because the run is always a threat. Now, this is a manageable third down where run is just as effective as a pass.
It's a run with DJ Dallas. And they're 0 for 5 on third down. Rashard Lawrence stopped them a yard short of the line to make.
This is an elite level LSU defense. I really think this is the best defense that Miami will play all season unless they make it back to the ACC championship game and play Clemson again. They have a similar defense, but this LSU defense is outstanding. They've got star players at all 3 levels of the defense.
Here's Zach Fiegels to kick it to Jonathan Giles. Another short, wobbly punt, end over end and out of bounds along the near sideline. Last one looked similar, went 34 yards. They're going to spot this one at the 44-yard line. A punt of 22. Ed Orgeron, the head coach at LSU, was an assistant coach at Miami for 2 of those national titles. Coached the defensive line. You'd look like a pretty good coach if you were coaching Warren Sapp and Russell Maryland and Cortez Kennedy. That's really where Ed made a name for himself. His team up 17-3 and out firing, wide open receiver Justin Jefferson. Lost the ball, but he was well out of bounds at the end of the play. Burrow on target for 37, much of it on the run.
Really good pass protection. Because of the motion, they weren't able to press cover on Jefferson. He had off coverage. The corner had outside leverage, and that in route was an easy throw and catch for Burrow. But it started with excellent protection and a nice first down throw. And I think this is a critical possession for the Miami defense. They have got to make something happen here because their offense is struggling.
1st and 5. Already up by 2 touchdowns with 6.5 to go in the half. Some missed tackles and a tough run. Clyde Edwards-Helaire First down inside the 10. 7-yard gain.
I think Miami was going for a strip there. Instead of just making a tackle in the hole, they were trying to rip the football out. They're feeling a little sense of desperation, I think. And LSU capitalized with a good, strong run inside.
Well, the defense scuffled at the end of last year as well. Obviously, some of that hand-in-hand with the difficulty the offense had. Here's Edwards-Helaire inside the 5. Tackling certainly hasn't been very good on the Miami side. Shaquille Quarterman managed to get Edwards-Helaire to the turf.
I think the difference in this ball game in the first half right now is the offensive line of LSU is having their way much better than the Miami offensive line.
The new starter at center, Lloyd Cushenberry. Edwards-Helaire stopped by Jaquan Johnson. 3rd down and goal for LSU as we go under 5.5 minutes to go in the first half.
LSU now up to 83 yards rushing here in the first half. Not huge numbers, but enough to have excellent balance. They have better balance in their offense right now than Miami does.
It wasn't necessarily a popular decision in Louisiana when Ed Orgeron put Steve Ensminger back as offensive coordinator, but the results speak for themselves. Burrow hit as he throws, and it is incomplete. Diving catch made by Jefferson, but apparently out of bounds.
Just a nice job getting rid of the football by Joe Burrow.
4th down.
Shaq Quarterman was pressuring and forcing the throw and avoiding the sack was an important play right there by Joe Burrow. Make this a more reasonable field goal opportunity.
Stop.
A little more time for the new kicker, Tracy, to think about it. Kicked for 3 years in a field at Assumption College called Multi-Sport Stadium, and if you see it, it was a multi-sport stadium. Men's and women's soccer, lacrosse, the field hockey team, they all played out there with 1,200 seats. He's at Jerry World tonight, and he hasn't missed. That's good from 21. Great start to the year for the LSU Tigers.
Such a cool place, too. Just being down there this week, even though there wasn't a game, just looking out and seeing that stadium at night, it's just spectacular.
Freshman Avery Atkins doing a nice job. That's another touchback. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, for Miami to get going, Malik Rozier has to have a better game. Coach Rick told us last year that he was frustrated with how the quarterbacks were taking this too seriously. He said, I shouldn't care more about their performance than they do. And by all accounts, Malik Rozier has been different this spring. He's told us he's completely revamped his preparation. He's totally revamped his leadership. Watched a ton of game film to get ready for this moment, but he's got to come alive against this very good LSU defense and do it quickly if his preparation is truly different.
I think, Holly, he needs some help from the offensive line. I think it starts up there. They're having a difficult time with this front 7 of LSU.
A very talented LSU defense. Good work by Travis Homer. Looked like he was doomed behind the line of scrimmage. He kept it alive and ran for a first down out to the 42-yard line. Tackled by Grant Delpit.
I mean, Rozier right now is at 50%, 6 of 12. He hasn't made a critical mistake. He's had trouble on 3rd down, but their inability to control the line of scrimmage has been their biggest problem. That was an excellent run on that first down play.
And LSU brings pressure off the corner. It's deflected and intercepted. This is going to be a touchdown for Jacob Phillips.
I think it was Ed Alexander lined up over the nose, number 99, who got a hand on the football and deflected that. Pressure was coming from the outside, but the deflection came from the inside. That must be the turnover towel that they put on Jacob Phillips. But Ed Alexander, the backup nose guard, with the play of the game.
Tracy bangs through the extra point. It is all Tigers. 45-yard interception returned by Jacob Phillips, his first career interception. The LSU fans send their team to the locker room with a standing ovation. The Miami fans out in full force, impressively so tonight, a long way from South Florida. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach, early in the game, you had to call some timeouts with procedural issues, but how did your quarterback settle down and start to find his rhythm?
He's done a good job. We had to get him out there a little bit faster, new clock rules. I thought Steve did a great job. We got physical, we ran the football, played LSU football.
Everybody told us this would be running back by committee, but what do you see from Nick Brossette out there, 2 scoring touchdowns?
The same thing I've seen all camp. It's his senior year. It's his time. He's a good running back.
Thank you, Coach.
Go Tigers.
The Hulu halftime report coming your way right after these messages. This is all LSU in the first half. They lead Miami 27-3. We take a look at our first half stats brought to you by Experian Identity Protection. Miami's been in the witness protection program here in the first half.
Yeah.
Not a lot good happened for the Hurricanes in that half.
Yeah, well, neither offense is really lighting it up, but couple more mistakes for Miami, whether it's penalties, the turnover. I think Miami's got to do a couple things. They're going to kick off here. They've got to find a way to create a turnover. That was a big part of their success. They got to get some energy and some juice. And then when they get the football, they have to find a way to get it in the hands of Amon Richards because he's their most dynamic player. He was only targeted 2 times in that first half.
He was a total non-factor in that first half. The 8 penalties that you saw in the Experian Identity Protection stats certainly hurt the Canes as well, and LSU will get the ball first. That big touchdown run of 50 yards by Nick Brossette broke a 3-3 tie, led to a 24-0 scoring spurt by LSU. Bubba backs his kickoff, is a touchback, and here's Holly Rowe a moment ago with Mark Richt.
Coach Richt, I know you'd worked so hard in the offseason on 3rd down conversion, but 0 for 6 tonight. What do you want to change there?
Well, it's shorter 3rd downs would be helpful. You know, a lot of self-inflicted wounds. Get a 2nd and 1, and then you get a penalty, a holding penalty after we convert. Just a lot of those little things, jumping off sides. Just about everything that could have gone wrong, almost everything went wrong. But I think the line's protected pretty good. We've had some good runs. We just got to sustain the drives on 3rd downs, like you said.
Thanks, Coach.
Nick Brossette avoided a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, and the first play from scrimmage of the second half for LSU goes for 9. Jaquan Johnson and Devontae Dean made the tackle.
Michael Pinckney, usually a very sure tackler, one of those starting linebackers, was the guy who got behind the line of scrimmage, just not able to get Brossette down to the ground, and it turned into a 9-yard gain.
No ill effects for LSU. They are sharp tonight, particularly the new quarterback, Joe Burrow, with a strike for a first down into Miami territory to the 33-yard line, a gain of 24.
Well, it's very safe play. It's a first down play action, max protection. You keep the tight end in, you keep a back in. It's basically a 2-man route with an outlet, and Burrow delivers a strike.
4th catch of the night for Justin Jefferson. Quick hitter.
Well, I like this. LSU came out in this possession, and they're showing heavy lineup. Like this is a run formation. Tight ends, not 3 and 4 wideouts. They're under center. In the first 2 plays, they've thrown the football, and they really put this Miami defense back on their heels in 2 plays.
D. Anderson, the last catch, the homecoming for D. He was excited to come here tonight. He's from DeSoto, Texas, about 20 miles away from AT&T Stadium. 2nd and short. Nick Brossette high stepping inside the 20, inside the 10, and out of bounds just shy of the 5-yard line.
This is just a great cutback, good vision by Brossette, and number 22 for Miami loses leverage. He had to Sheldrick Redwine, the safety. That's his responsibility to maintain leverage, and he missed a tackle, and Brossette was able to just take it out the backside for a big gain.
Steve Ensminger said it would be running back by committee. That plan might change with the emergence of Brossette tonight. He wants to follow along the lines of Geis and Fournette and Hill and so many other terrific running backs from longer ago. Guys like Stephen Ridley, Kevin Falk back in the late 90s. Yeah. They've had a long run of featured backs. Perhaps Brissett is becoming that guy tonight.
Kevin Falk, I ran into him in the football building the other day. He's on staff now, is working with player development. Happy to be back at LSU.
Brissett now over 100 yards rushing with 101. Second and goal. LSU. Willis bats the pass out of the air. It's an incomplete pass. They have 27 on the board against this Miami defense. Not even midway through the third quarter. Trying to throw it to the fullback, Torrey Carter. And Quan Johnson had the coverage.
Well, he missed Foster Moreau. I mean, he made the good decision to throw the ball away. Joe Burrow's done that all night to avoid the sack and the negative play. But he had Foster Moreau in the back of the end zone that he could have got it to him for a touchdown.
It's now Cole Tracy. After a brutal field goal kicking year last year for LSU, they used two different kickers who went 16 for 27. That's awful in today's day and age of excellent field goal kicking. Tracy's had a terrific debut, and that one's good from 21 yards.
What a difference a year makes, huh? Wow.
That's his third field goal of the night. Midway through the third quarter. 30-3 LSU. Michael Irvin's here tonight. He was one of the honorary captains from Miami. There's the Hall of Famer with the Dallas Cowboys. Not enjoying this tonight. Miami getting throttled by LSU. It's 30-3 as Avery Atkins kicks off. Nothing but touchbacks tonight for Atkins. This one's squibbed and returnable for Jeff Thomas.
I guess what just happened here, Sean, Miami converted a third down.
Yes, well, you missed that milestone. Stop the game and give them the ball. They're now 1 for 8 on third down. That Rozier pass too high for Darrell Langham.
DJ Dallas coming off the field with a little injury, trying to block Chesson on that pass play. LSU is very content at this point now to just rush 3 or 4, play safe, don't let anything over the top of your defense, force Rozier to throw everything underneath. Not going to give any easy ones away here with the kind of lead that they have.
Rozier hit 5 of his first 7 passes, 3 for 12 since. Travis Homer out to the 45. He was a big part of their success a year ago. They had Mark Walton, who was one of the best running backs in the country. He got injured in the 4th game of the year, out for the rest of the year. Homer really been a special teams player, and the coaches admitted they were surprised when he emerged as a very capable lead back who almost rushed for 1,000 yards.
Doesn't mean you stop running the football, but you do need to pick up your pace.
Hard-earned yard for Travis Homer, now in his junior year out of West Palm Beach, driven back by Caleb Von Chasen and Kelvin Joseph.
One thing we should mention for Miami, they've not had a lot of success running the football tonight, 82 yards. It's tough to run without a hard-nosed blocking tight end. And right now, Miami, because of an injury to Michael Irvin, they're forced to play 2 true freshmen at tight end. And that's tough, asking those guys to block a defense like this in your running game.
Well, Michael Irvin suffered a preseason knee injury. A high throw. Rozier was hit as he threw it. It's intercepted. Being brought back by John Battle to the 40-yard line of Miami.
It was Delpit again, and he ran right by Tyree St. Louis. They had a guy assigned to block him, but St. Louis not quick enough to handle the safety blitz. Here comes Delpit right here. He's going to beat the left tackle and force the errant throw by Rozier. Hit as he throws, the ball sails, and there's the interception.
Second of the night for LSU. First one was brought back by Jacob Phillips late in the first half for a touchdown, 45 yards. That was a 28-yard return by Battle. Senior from Hallandale, Florida. They come after Burrow. He got hit as he throws, and it's dropped. Terrace Marshall was open and dropped it.
Good inside pressure by Gerald Willis.
Number 2 for LSU has to leave the game for illegal equipment.
You know what that is? That's the new rule about the knee pads. The pants have to go over the knees. When we had our seminar, the referees were talking to us about it. Rogers Redding, they were going to enforce. It's the first time I've seen it enforced all weekend. Uniform infraction. Cover those knees.
Well, Willis has been a force tonight up front for Miami. He's one of the hardest hits Burrow's taken this evening. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire just shy of the 35-yard line, where it'll be third down after we hear from Holly Rowe.
Gerald Willis has made some great plays, as you said, up front, Sean, and he's a great story. He sat out all of last season. They're going to go quick here. I'll get back to you in just a second.
All right, Holly. Burrow got it off before he was hit. Up for grabs. And caught. Or is it? No, it is not. Stephen Sullivan could not make the catch with Romeo Finley in coverage.
Pretty nice job by Finley getting that right hand up in there and just knocking the ball away. Good tight coverage. It was a good throw.
It was caught, but he was out of bounds. So here's Cole Tracy. From kicking into Forest to kicking into luxury suites. This is his longest attempt. It'll be a 54-yarder. Low line drive, and it's his night. Raised the crossbar and went through.
I'd say signing this guy as a graduate transfer, pretty good decision by Ed Orgeron.
They were thrilled to get him. He and Burrow, both graduate transfers, difference makers tonight. Well, Jeff Thomas on the return for Miami stumbles down after he crossed the 20. The head of Virginia Tech, who we'll see tomorrow night. Florida State in the other division, the Atlantic, picked to finish second behind Clemson. Everybody thinks Clemson's going to win the ACC, barring a big surprise. But is Florida State poised to come back?
We'll see. We'll see what they can do with their new coach, with Willie Taggart. I do think DeAndre Francois, if he can stay healthy, I think he gives them a chance. You know they're going to have the athletes and the defensive players and the speed to make a run at it, but Clemson just is so far out in front of everybody in that league right now.
Travis Homer, the ball carrier, to the 47-yard line as we go to 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Glenn Logan, the tackle for LSU.
And Miami certainly will play better than they've shown tonight. And they're plenty good enough and have the talent to win the ACC Coastal again. I mean, that is well within their reach. But when they've played the elite teams at the end of last year and in this team in LSU tonight, particularly defensively, they just don't match up very well.
He's not on the field for this third down and 8. And they just throw a prayer up there, and it was answered this time. Jeff Thomas, the catch. Officials conferring they have a catch in bounds at the 26-yard line.
This is a phenomenal effort by Jeff Thomas. Keeps his eye on the ball, stops and goes up for it, and gets 1 foot down, which is all he needs.
Wow, tremendous.
Kerry Vincent was in coverage number 5, and he overran the play.
Look out. Rozier avoided the blitz and stepped ahead to the 20-yard line. It was Jacoby Stevens who made the tackle after Patrick Queen came on the blitz. Back up to Devin White, who's getting some playing time here, sophomore from Livonia, Louisiana.
And even if there's a lot of backups on the field for LSU, the starters are out there for Miami, and right now they're going to be thinking, we have got to get the ball in the end zone. We've got to get something good to happen for our offense and get a touchdown on the board.
They haven't been in the red zone tonight. Rozier got just to the 20 and then got blasted back. by Queen and Jacoby Stevens, a sophomore from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
That's the end of the third quarter.
The third quarter controlled by LSU.
62.
Sunday night kickoff presented by NHTSA will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Third down and 4. Rozier. They convert a third down. Nice. And he gets spun around a couple of times. First and goal. Deepest penetration of the night for Miami. They're at the 9-yard line after pickup of 11.
That was just not by design. No, he did
number 5 is out for knee pads.
He did have a quarterback draw called earlier in this drive. That was just him reading it, taking off on his own, and getting a nice pickup on third down to keep this drive alive in the red zone.
Rozier looked in his direction, had to pull it down on first and goal from the 9. Little sandlot ball. He threw it up for grabs, almost picked off, and then almost caught for a touchdown. Jacoby Stevens had the first shot at for LSU. Ricocheted off him. Lawrence Cager couldn't snare it.
And they almost got their third interception of the ball game.
Second and goal, Miami. Perhaps a design run for Rozier. And let me ask you this, as Alexander runs him down. You're going to lose the game. We mentioned there was a quarterback competition, but Mark Richt said to us the other day, you know, the young guys really aren't ready.
Yeah.
They're freshmen, redshirt freshmen. Do you really want to run that play down by 30 and get your quarterback smacked again?
No, I don't think that's the best, although we've seen him run the ball about 4 times in this drive. I think Mark Richt is saying we've got to do whatever we can to get a touchdown.
Third down and goal, a minute into the fourth quarter, and he runs it into the end zone. As we said, good idea. Have the quarterback run the ball untouched into the end zone.
Well, this is a nice read. He could have given this to the back. He saw an opening. And I'll tell you what, that shows some toughness from Malik Rozier. It's been a tough night for him. A couple interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown. His team has not played well offensively. And he's hung in there and he got his team in the end zone. And that's something they can build on anyway, offensively going forward.
Bubba Baxa performing well in his debut. He is wiped out. Rozier into the end zone. It's 33-10. Miami to kick off. LSU anticipating the possibility of an onside kick here with Miami trailing 33-10. 13:57 to go. They kick it deep. One man back there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire caught it at the goal line. Hesitated for a moment. And he's in trouble near the 10-yard line. Made it to the 11.
Right
and
now,
Ed Orgeron and Steve Ensminger told us that Miles Brennan, the backup sophomore from Mississippi, is really the better thrower, has the bigger arm. But they liked the experience of Burrow, even though he hadn't started a game. He played in 10 college games. Was around it for 3 years at Ohio State. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, good run on first down. There's Brennan. I guess the question would be, if Miami didn't score, perhaps there was some thought of putting him in the game to get him some snaps, but it's enough of a question mark still to leave the starter in there. But it was a spirited competition that lost 2 of the combatants. And McMillan and Narcisse transferred out in mid-August. Here's second down and 2. Is Wisely going to let the play clock run down? 15 seconds to go in this 23-point lead.
He said, yes, I took care of my college part at Ohio State. This is really a job for me now. This is the start of my career.
Yeah.
He said, I'm taking classes, but he said he is taking online classes as a graduate student. He said he spends about 1 hour a night on academics, and everything else is total immersion in football.
Yeah, he was. I've never heard anybody talk like that, but he was very honest with us, and you know, he's got a very business-like approach.
Holly?
Well, guys, when we talked to Ed Orgeron, we said, does it matter that he only had 2 years left? And he said, no, I want the guy that will win now. That was the most important thing to me. He didn't care about the time left or if they were going to try to develop Miles Brennan. They want to win right now.
Yeah, if your name was near the top of every coach on the hot seat list, you'd want to win right now, too. And this performance should get some people off Coach O's back at least for another week or two. Jonathan Garvin, who was injured earlier, back out there. But Ed was very positive. He said despite some of those off the field things that we talked about, he thinks they had a great camp. He likes the talent level. But they have one of the toughest schedules in the country.
They do. I mean, that's why I thought at the very beginning of the show I talked about, I thought this game was more important for LSU than it was for Miami because of what comes next. Their schedule is not friendly.
Matter of fact, in 2 weeks, they're at Auburn off that big win for Auburn yesterday against Washington.
And you compare their schedule to Alabama's, their crossover games are Florida and Georgia out of the East. That's a little bit different than what Alabama draws as their crossover.
Well, the LSU players-only meeting was led by Devin White, and you can see the All-American candidate linebacker is in there right now on punt coverage team. His message to his guys was everybody has an important job. A lot of young guys are going to have to step up, and if you look at the number of starters on this team right now, that's the story.
Yeah, he said some of the younger guys seem to be offended by the suggestion they had to participate on special teams. Yeah. These guys are 4-star recruits, 3-star, 5-star recruits. But there he is leading by example. I'm not sure I'd want my best linebacker out there in this situation.
Well, did you see who was in the punch shield? Rashard Lawrence and Brandon Fajoko, their 2 starting defensive linemen, were in the punch shield. So
but I think they know it's still a game.
It is.
It's still a game. It's not much of a game. It's surprisingly one-sided. But a Miami touchdown here tightens things up considerably. And Ed Orgeron and his staff are well aware of that.
I think we'll potentially see a little bit more pressure defense this possession for just the reasons you're talking about, Sean.
Rozier given plenty of time this time, and it's incomplete. Twisting around and failing to catch it was Jeff Thomas.
Failing to catch it, but that's a throw that Rozier needs to make. He had protection. They picked up the blitz from the outside, and he threw it behind Thomas. He's a fast receiver running a crossing route. That ball has to be in front of him, and that's an easy completion. Just a bad pass that time by Rozier.
We talk about the lack of a presence of Amon Richards tonight. 1 catch, and he has not been on the field in these last few series. On the sideline, helmet on. We're not aware that there's anything wrong with him. He certainly doesn't look to be in any sort of pain. Look out! Rozier blasted. Back inside the 20. Calebon Chason with the sack for LSU.
Well, this is a mistake by the left guard and the left tackle. Watch these 2 guys. They're just going to open the gap, and Chason is going to just come right in between them. Somebody has to step down or step out. It's only a 3-man rush, and he was unabated to the quarterback.
3rd down and 18. LSU crowding the line of scrimmage, but a passive rush giving Rozier plenty of time, throwing it deep and caught at the 30-yard line. The speedy Jeff Thomas with a huge play for Miami, 52 yards.
Well, this is a beautiful throw by Rozier, but this is bad defense by LSU. You've got 2 safeties that both took a bad angle to the football, and they let the receiver get behind them. Jacoby Stevens, number 3, tried to cut in front and go for the football, and he missed it. And that's a big completion on 3rd and long for Rozier.
Nearly 9 minutes to go. Rozier, single coverage, lots of contact, and a catch.
with Kelvin Joseph, the freshman, with tight coverage. That's true freshman against true freshman, and Hightower won the battle.
How about the back-to-back throws by Malik Rozier on the deep post on 3rd and long, and then drops this one in the bucket right over the outside shoulder for the touchdown.
Hightower, out of the IMG Academy in Florida, one of the top recruits among wide receivers in the country. Played in the U.S. Army All-American game in San Antonio. Now a big extra point here, and it's a 2-score game. Just 4 plays to go 74 yards, and they took only 1 minute and 19 seconds off the clock. First collegiate catch for Hightower is a 31-yard touchdown. And that is not well done. I love the idea we talked about during the break. If they line up thinking you're going to onside kick it, squib it down there and try to go chase it. But if you kick it out of bounds, that plan doesn't work. By the way, could have been a Gruden grinder. Now he's a Chicago, I don't know, Bear. Here comes Nick Brossette. A little bit of game pressure on LSU now, and he rumbles ahead to the 48-yard line. Sheldrick Redwine made the tackle. That's 13 for Brossette, having the best night of his career at LSU, the senior.
I think the last couple possessions, LSU has been more concerned with trying to run clock than they have been being productive. And I think now this possession, they're going to be more focused on, hey, let's put a drive together and the clock will take care of itself. Let's move the football and take care of it.
They're excited about Fehoko. Sat out last year's transfer from Texas Tech. Loved their radio show. Here's Brossette. Looks like he got a first down. Far and away the biggest night of his career. His previous rushing yardage high in a single game was 73 against Missouri 2016. With that 12-yard run, he's up to 122 on 19 carries tonight, averaging 6.5 per carry, and his 50-yard
Miami
run.
takes his third and final time out of the half.
The thing
Please set the game
I liked about him is not only the power he's run with, but the patience. He shows great patience letting his blocks set up. But he certainly established himself as the feature guy in an offense and in a team that's used to having a feature tailback. Not the hype or the accolades of the guys that played that position previous to him, but he certainly has shown well tonight.
He's a senior. Those were the first 2 touchdowns of his college career after he had 141, the state record in high school. Just rushing touchdowns. He gets the carry again. Miami's out of timeouts. Joe Jackson made the tackle. They'll snap it again with under 4 minutes to go. Want to be an impressive season opening win for LSU. Holly.
Well, Caleb Chason has undergone a very extensive ligament stability test on his left knee. They actually brought the cart out to the sideline after that test to try to cart him off, and he refused. He said, I'm not getting on that thing. They brought him some crutches, but again, he threw the crutches down. He has finally relented, so they are icing up that left knee. He doesn't think it's serious, but they don't want him to put any weight on it right now.
All right, Holly. There's Brossette again. Miami stacking up the line of scrimmage. Forward progress stopped. Well, LSU, a lot of questions coming into the season. How impressed are you by what they've done tonight?
I'm very impressed. I still think they've got obviously some work to do offensively. Their passing game still needs to grow as they go forward. But I'm impressed with how their defense played the way I expected it to play. I thought Joe Burrow, for his first game, managed things extremely well. I thought their offensive line, where there was some questions against a very good, established veteran Miami defense, held their own and controlled the line of scrimmage for most of the game.
Again, no turnovers. Talk about the stats quite even tonight, but 2 turnovers for Miami, no turnovers for LSU. Kicker Tracy with a wonderful debut. Wonder if he's going to get another chance to go 5 for 5 tonight, perhaps. And that goes back to last year. LSU, 8 turnovers, fewest in the country. Yeah. Tied the all-time record for fewest in a season. Only 5 other teams
had done that.
Well, and it also shows you how much Miami last year and now into the first game this year relied on those turnovers to turn games around for them. In the first 10 games in that 10-0 run last year, they had 30 turnovers that they forced. Yikes.
Josh Groudon, the Australian, with the punt. The snapper Blake Ferguson went over to down it. 1:59 to go. When I think of Miami and LSU, I think of that baseball game. In the College World Series championship game back in 1996. Alex Cora, now the Red Sox manager, was on the field when the game ended.
Now Warren Morris hits a deep drive down the right field line. That ball is gone. LSU wins the College World Series on a home run by Morris.
I recognize that voice.
Yeah. Hard to believe that was that long ago. Was that 22 years ago now? It was shocking, too. Of course, fans on both sides remember that, particularly Warren Morris, a hero now throughout the state of Louisiana. But I remember they told us he couldn't really hit for any power. He'd hurt his hand, and he had lost all power. And then he just rips one down the right field line. First time, I believe, that the College World Series had ever ended on a home run.
Before all the talk of launch angle, because that was a line shot.
It sure was. It was back in the good old days of Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha.
Third down and 8. Rozier dumped. Michael Divinity, a junior from Marrero, Louisiana, one of their starting linebackers.
Well, Jacob Phillips was there first, and he was unblocked. And Rozier had nowhere to go away from him and right into the waiting arms of Michael Divinity.
Fourth and 13. And Miami, a very disappointing season opening loss. Not just the result, but the one-sidedness of it certainly surprising. They have a while before they get into ACC play. But you said at the beginning of the telecast you weren't sure they have what it takes to be a national championship contender. They certainly look like they're a long way from that with this performance tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're getting closer. I do think that they're good enough to win the ACC Coastal again, and they're good enough to get to the ACC championship game. But they still have a ways to go to get to that elite level in college football.
Can we get Coach O off the hot seat at least for a week? You know, that's a week-to-week thing, these hot seats. Seems kind of silly that we have hot seats before the year's even started.
Last year, they finished 9-4. Very easily could have been 11-2. They lose at home to Troy by 3. And if they could kick a field goal, they might have beaten Notre Dame in the bowl game. 11-2, he's not on a hot seat. But at 9-4 in Baton Rouge, he is. But tonight helps.
4 straight losses for Miami. What happened to that team that was 10-0 a year ago? And a terrific start for Ed Orgeron. Workmanlike performance by his new quarterback. They've solved their kicking problem without any question. And perhaps the running back will be more productive than they anticipated. Here's Holly with Coach O.
Well, Coach, you made a decision, and it was a close, tough decision on who your quarterback should be tonight. What did that young man show you in this game?
A lot of poise, was under a lot of duress, a lot of pressure at the beginning, but he held it together and led this team.
He said there was a moment in this game that you put some trust into him and started letting him throw downfield. What was that moment, and why did you trust him?
Well, I just felt like we could protect him. I've always felt that Joe can get it done, but we had to see how the offense was going. I was very proud of Steve Henswing and the offensive staff, their total game plan.
You guys didn't know if you'd have a running back, but tonight Nick Brissett showed that he is pretty good, over 100 yards rushing for that young man. What did you think?
And same story. Nick waited for 4 years. He's an LSU Tiger. He's a good back. Now, he still needs to prove himself throughout the year, but I think LSU fans will be very pleased with Nick.
I can't leave without talking about your kicker, that young man from Assumption College. What did you think when just time after time it was money?
You know, I got to give the credit to Coach Greg McMahon for recruiting them. They did a tremendous job, and he's been great ever since he came. We're proud of Cole. We're proud of protection.
The defense. Let's not forget that defense. How did the front and the guys show up?
They did good. You know, we could have put more pressure on the quarterback. You know, I know we're going to be mad that we gave up those deep balls in the end. But you know what? There's a lot of improvement from this football game. But it's good that we won, and we can go back and make improvement.
Thank you, Coach.
Go Tigers.
Nick Brossette unstoppable in that 50-yard run that changed the game. Final score, LSU 33, Miami 17. Now for our producer Phil Dean, our director Scott Johnson, our outstanding crew, for Holly and Todd, Sean McDonough saying so long from Arlington. This has been a presentation of college football on ABC.